how should we invest or buy art?
You don't want to buy a painting that's like 15 lakhs and then you look at it and you say, oh, I don't like it.
What are the questions they ask you when they come and buy art?
The younger people are more drawn to contemporary art. It's our job to convince them to look at
what is a good investment in art.
There are two kinds of investments in art. One is an emotional investment. And the second is a financial investment, which I personally don't connect to.
लीजा, पहले हमारे जैसे घरों में मुरानो, बुरानो, लाद्रो, crystals, and now I've seen people are moving away from this and they are putting art, sculptures, paintings. So how should we invest or buy art?
So firstly, I feel that art is very relative. What you like, I may not like, and what I like, you may. So there's no right or wrong in art. I think everybody should buy what appeals to them, something about the art that speaks to them. That is good art for yourself.
What speaks to you in art?
Oh, that's very hard to say. I am really drawn to traditional art forms, all traditional art forms. Or even contemporary art forms, but which have a little, because I feel like traditional art is so layered.
What is a traditional art
timeless
form?
We have hundreds and thousands of art forms in India. Traditional art forms are art forms which have been passed down through centuries.
Like
from Pichwai, Fud painting, there's Gond art. Gond is a tribal art. There is Sorai, there is Patachitra, there's Kalamkari. Too many to name, yeah.
Okay.
But these are all art forms which have been passed down through generations, which have continued through centuries. They are rooted in tradition, and I think they speak. What really appeals to me is that they speak of communities, of stories, of rituals. And so there's a lot of culture and a lot of heritage and all of these, but yet they are so timeless.
Yes. So anything that you remember, which like now when I see some paintings, there's an entire story in there about an era.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
That is.
So I think when you buy traditional art, I mean, of course, we have an incredible number of really fantastic contemporary artists in our country, but I feel traditional art, when you buy traditional art, like I said, you're buying a story. You're actually owning a fragment of collective memory.
मुझे कुछ इसका बताइए. So मतलब दादा, I don't know, whatever, however you want to explain collective memory.
So most traditional art forms are based on mythology, stories, religious elements. And so these are all stories that have continued. Like you have Kawad. Kawad is an art form from Gujarat, which is essentially, it's painted on these wooden, like little cupboards. I mean, not little, there's some huge ones as well. And the doors open and they open and they open. And then there's a story that runs through that whole thing. In Maharashtra, in fact, in the Konkan area, there is this traditional art form called Chitrakathi. So Chitrakathi was basically that they painted these images and they traveled around and they related these stories through these paintings. So that's why it's Chitrakathi. So stories that are told through these paintings.
Wow. And what do the paintings have in Chitrakathi?
There are stories of different Ramayana, Mahabharata, like I said, mythological and religious background, stories of gods, Hanuman Chalisa, things like that.
So they travel and through these paintings, they tell the story.
They tell the stories.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is traditional art.
That is, yeah. And every region, like this is from Maharashtra, but then you have Kalighati, Patachitra. Patachitra is from Orissa, Kalighati is from Bengal. You have the Kalamkari, you have Gond, which is a tribal art form.
But how does one go and acquire these traditional?
So these are usually,
artists?
Most art fairs, most regional art fairs would have traditional art, but every state has its own art forms.
So Lisa, I know, पर अब अगर आपने जैसे मुझे traditional art का बोला, so one you told me regional art fairs. what are the other spaces or places I can go and actually get, because I have no clue?
There are a lot of art galleries and art spaces now that are beginning to see the value of traditional art.
So connect with
In
a
fact,
local art gallery.
Yes, local
Okay.
art galleries which deal with traditional art forms. There are a lot of these, art craft textile fairs also, which have a lot of these traditional arts and
Oh.
art.
So keep your eyes and ears open and look for these places.
Yeah.
So like in Baroda, in MSU, I went there, and I think all fine art universities have 12 or 14 students doing their residencies.
Yeah.
And I saw, and that is like, some of the art really spoke to me. And I got it also at a very reasonable price.
But that's the other thing, when you are acquiring art, when you, a lot of people feel this disconnect, they feel when they go to an art gallery. But, art is just it's anything that appeals to you. And so if you're confused about buying art, I think people should just look at younger artists.
Why?
Because it's affordable. And because it's affordable, you can afford to have made a mistake. You don't want to buy a painting that's like 15 lakhs and then you look at it and you say, oh, I don't like it.
Okay.
So you start out like that. But essentially, I think you should just buy art that speaks to you.
But how do we even go, and where do we go to find these young artists to buy art?
Universities, a lot of art galleries. There are a lot of organizations that do, like in Bangalore, there's this, forget what it's called.
Okay.
It's like they just have art, affordable art, all over the streets.
Oh.
Those are places where you can, acquire younger artists. A lot of galleries are representing young artists now.
Okay. So Lisa, if I want to invest, how do I know what is a good investment in art?
So now this is a little, so I feel like there are two kinds of investments in art. One is an emotional investment. Like, I really love this piece and I must have it. And the second is a financial investment, which I personally don't connect to. But at the same time, I think it's a good idea. And I feel that earlier it was only the slightly mid-age people that were investing in art, because I think by then you've kind of like frozen on who you are and what you like. But the heartening thing for art galleries and artists is that a lot of younger people are now buying art.
So what are the questions they ask you when they come and buy art?
Usually I think the younger people are more drawn to contemporary art. It's our job to convince them to look at, because a lot of traditional art is also very contemporary in form. Like if you see Gond paintings, it's very, very contemporary forms. But anyway, that's a whole separate subject. So they like contemporary art, smaller works, because our houses are getting smaller, our wall spaces are getting smaller. So smaller works and affordable works. But the younger lot has started to invest in, more established names, bigger artists, well-known artists.
So Lisa, if I want to buy, let's say, an established artist, what is my best shot of getting a good deal?
Go to galleries. If you have direct contact with the artists, that's always the best. If you don't, most of us don't, then go to a reputed gallery that is dealing with authentic art. Always ask for an authentication certificate. When you buy any art, you have to have an authentication certificate. Ask for an authentication certificate, and established, well-known galleries will not play around with prices.
Can you suggest a few
and these days one has access, on the internet. You look up a big artist, you look up at his, I mean, you know what the rate is, and it's gotten much better now.
Any ritual that you think people who are just starting out to understand art and like art, मतलब उन्हें क्या करना चाहिए?
They, like I said, they should buy art from younger artists, play around. A lot of times, how you curate the art on your wall, like in how you place it, how you frame it, all that makes a huge difference. Just a very basic or a simple kind of artwork framed beautifully, put next to something that goes with it. All of these things are important. So you buy younger artists initially. I would say, buying younger artists because they're affordable and they're all very, very good.
So one of the things I've started doing, Lisa, is at least twice a month in Ahmedabad, I go and visit some art gallery or some exhibition, or I go to Kanoria Art, Institute. So just going there,
Yeah,
it's not
I think one you should also always look at a lot of art before you do these. Like with art, I don't think it should be an impulse buy unless you've looked at enough art to understand what it is or what style of art that really appeals to you, and then you buy it.
What about sculptures?
Sculptures are again, there's some amazing sculpture happening in India, contemporary as well as traditional, ceramic sculptures, metal. There's just some incredibly beautiful stuff that is happening.
So again, with the gallery, we can go and try.
Yeah. Usually galleries. Unless people are really into art and they have direct access to the artists. I think art galleries
Tell me one thing, Lisa, are artists approachable? Like, can we look them up online?
Absolutely. Artists are very approachable. They're very happy to speak to buyers. They're very happy to speak to not just buyers, they're happy to speak to people who appreciate their art. I think for an artist, it's not just the being able to sell their work, it's also to have their work appreciated.
So मतलब internet पे देख के एक message drop कर दें हम?
कर दो, बिल्कुल, absolutely. There are a lot of really big artists that will respond to your messages. Yeah.
Okay.
There's this Sri Lankan artist who I did this with. I mean, of course, I went through a friend, but then I also sent him a message. Sent me his number. I spoke to him.
Wow. Great.
So,
Lisa, what made you get into art curation?
My mother was very, very creative and artistic. And so I've always been surrounded by creativity and art. And my mother's name was Mona, by the way. That's why my name is Lisa. And
that's so cute.
And so that's why our art galleries. So it was just a natural progression, I think. It was never planned. It just happened.
So tell me, you are amongst art, or amidst art all the time.
Yeah.
Tell me some of the effects that art has on you when you get a new collection or when somebody nice comes.
I'm just every time we put up a new show, I'm just constantly awed by how amazing the art is. I never get used to it. I never become casual about it. It's just something that I feel so passionately about.
Can you speak about some particular art that actually really spoke to you? I mean, I'm sure a lot,
lots of art. I mean, like I said, traditional art is it's a huge, like all forms of traditional art. But even amongst the contemporary artists, there's a lot of artists whose work I really, really like. There's Amol Pawar.
Can you tell me anything about any art piece? We'll include that artwork, one of the artworks.
So Amol does, I might have to send you some image. Amol does this Shakti series. He has done it in the past, the Shakti series, which is about women. And so the theme of the thing is Shakti. So like really powerful, strong figures, usually female figures. And so it's contemporary, but again, it has its root in traditional mythology. Beautiful work, you should see it. It's really stunning.
Tell me one piece of Pawar that you remember.
Oh, there's just too many to tell you about. He's currently doing a black and white series, which is also gorgeous.
Of Shakti?
No, not of Shakti, but just a purely black and white series. There's lots of artists, lots of contemporary artists. There's someone called Zen Vartan. His work is also really nice. It's purely abstract work, but it's very soothing somehow in a way. It's very calming, his work.
So Lisa, they say that as the artist progresses in life, there are some phases, where whatever the artist does, that's kind of valued even higher than the other phases. Is there like a creative phase to an artist, and how does one?
Yeah, of course, I think so. It's also like the phases keep evolving and changing. Like most artists will start out with trying to do everything, all try out their hands at different things until they come to a point where they then freeze on a certain style of work. Then they'll explore within that work and just like get really. But then I think like Sujata Bajaj,
I've seen
you've seen her work. It's absolutely stunning. But her current work is so far removed from what she was doing earlier. It's very different. And I think the reason is, which she told me, is that, after a while, even though everybody is saying stunning work, it gets a little stagnant for the artist. So her current work is just drastically different from what she's done in the past.
So, Lisa, I had the good fortune to witness Hussain Sahab. I was supposed to write his book.
Goosebumps.
You know what? I didn't go to write that book because my daughter had 104 fever. And he died after that, 3 months later. This was about that, he had that girlfriend in Madrid or somewhere, and he had a series of 36 paintings. He wanted to speak to me about those.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you,
what a lost opportunity.
Anyway, so I saw Hussain Sahab, and he was working on this huge art piece, and he was sitting, in his little thing, and music was playing, and he was like,
an amazing energy. Amazing. And at any given point, he had like 20 unfinished work lying all over the house.
So tell me about, you've met him, Hussain Sahab.
Met him. So I've never been to his studio, but I have met him, and he had amazing energy.
Tell me about some anecdote that you remember, like you were saying. Yeah,
Hussain Sahab. I have actually met him many years ago, and for something not really connected to visual arts. We were part of a group. I was part of a group that we did ikebana arrangements based on a theme. And so we had, the theme for that year was Weddings of India. And so we asked him to come and inaugurate our flower arrangement ikebana exhibition. And so he'd come, of course, in his trademark barefoot, carrying this paintbrush and everything. And because he's an artist, artists are very, their creativity is in every field. So even within our ikebana arrangement, which is ikebana is a Japanese art form, he gave us a lot of suggestions. So I had this one arrangement which was huge, like 20 feet wide. I'd found a very large bamboo piece which was shaped like that. So I put it like that, and I'd done some arrangements here and there, and because that kind of, for me, it looked like a doli, which is used in weddings. And so, but it was on the floor, so I put like a white sheet. So he told me that, why did you put a white sheet? You should have put some other color, because white
doesn't go with doli ka thi.
Yeah, it has another association which is not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any other story you remember of any other artist that stayed with you?
So many. Prabhakar Kolte. So he used to come to our gallery very, very often, and he would love to just sit there, and then he would call a lot of people, and they would be having these discussions about art. And so for me, that was so engaging and so inspiring even to listen to him talk. And he told me once that, your gallery has such a lovely energy that I'm going to come and stay here for 10, 12, 15 days, and we will put up only 7 artworks. Huge artworks, but only 7. And I'll paint them here, I'll stay here, paint them here, and put them up in your gallery.
Did you?
Never really happened.
Oh. They also have such beautiful, different ideas, radical thoughts.
So just the conversations that he would have, he would come, Jayant Joshi, Nachiket Patwardhan, and all these guys, they're like stalwarts.
Yeah.
They would be sitting and hanging out at the gallery and having these conversations.